And you're on.
Hello everyone, it's Timmy2009 and I'm back again with another Thomas the Tank Engine related video. Now this video I've been wanting to make for a long time, ever since I completed this project. So here we have the Thomas Bluebird carrying case and the Tidmouth sheds as a bonus. So this is probably like the last Bluebird set that I've made so far. Like, now there weren't really that many sets. Like, I think the hardest part about this whole Bluebird series, like, trying to think of like what tracks I was going to make for these trains, like, so I thought, why don't I like try to combine it with a discontinued series as well, since the Bluebird toys did get canceled in 1998, but there was another discontinued miniature line, and as some of you might be able to recognize, it's the Ertl miniature line from Ertl itself. So they actually brought the series back with the Earl Thomas Mini World, but that ended up getting discontinued as well. So they were basically like these sets that had these little portable green like things that had tracks on them, and you could like put buildings on top of them and other things, and they had these miniature Ertl trains. But I combined them with the Bluebird trains as well, since they're both like distributed by Ertl. I don't know if that's 100% accurate or not, but the Bluebird Miniature Railway had the Ertl licensing on the box as well as the other sets, so I don't know if it was distributed by Ertl, like if Ertl did make the Bluebird Thomas line, or if it's... But what I do know is that it was owned by Bluebird Toys and they got bankrupt. And somehow the Ertl miniature lines got discontinued shortly after that. They may have lasted longer than that because they did make... They attempted to bring the series back with the Mini World series, but again, that got discontinued as well. And the whole entire Ertl diecast line was discontinued in 2005. Well, it is sad that that happened, but I'm just glad that they didn't make any characters from seasons 9 onwards, since I prefer the original 7 seasons of Thomas and Friends. Anyways, so again, I combined them with these two as well. And I think the hardest part was to like actually think of what tracks I was going to make, so I went with this. Anyways, so I've been wanting to make like a set that you can actually like assemble yourself, like, since the Bluebird trains are very restricted into assembly, like they already have the track set built, so you don't really have to do anything, and you just already have the trains going on them, and that's about it. But I thought these Bluebird trains were very amazing, and I'm still sad that they got discontinued, but since so 3D printing Bluebird trains wasn't easy at first, but then after some trial and error, I finally got it just right. And that's when this series really grew. Like, it took me a whole year to actually complete this set and all the different characters as well. But
how did you make that?
Well, I basically built them from scratch in 3D Builder.
Oh, this is 3D printed?
Yeah, it's all 3D
wow.
printed.
Oh, when did you do that?
Yes, I started this project in 2022 in September, late
really
September.
Cool. I've never seen them.
And then I ended the project in early February of 2024 this year.
Cool.
So it was quite a slog to get through, but with all my patience, I was able to like actually make this finally a reality. And
are these glued on?
No, these tracks are actually
printed on it,
attached to it. So these Bluebird trains actually have like this system where they like have these little roller wheels on the bottom, and these tracks have like these little grooves on the bottom, so like these just like slot in, and they like slide along very nicely.
Where did you find the pattern for it?
Well, I built the patterns myself.
Oh, that's amazing.
Entirely from scratch. All these tracks were built from scratch, as well as these roller wheels.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, yeah, but yeah, this is a very nice track system. Like, now I thought about 3D printing other like projects as well, but so far this is the only one. This is the only one that has a track system so far.
That's awesome.
But yeah, these things are really small, so this was a pretty simplistic thing to make. However, I don't know why it took this long to like actually complete it, but it was worth it overall.
Printer would print something this big.
Yeah.
It must have taken up the whole thing, right?
I don't know how long I've talked so far.
5 minutes. You're good.
Okay, so we'll start off with Tidmouth Sheds. So there's a story behind this set. So they made this set separately, but then they made another version where they added the sheds as a bonus. And again, you can buy other sets from this Ertl Mini line. There's one for the water tower, there's one with a viaduct, there's one for Harold's airfield, there's the one for the windmill as well. Like, I've basically done every set from the Ertl Mini World series, so you might see those in future videos if I do remakes of these models, with these models. But, so anyways, let's start off with Tidmouth Sheds first, since this is one of the main things I was wanting to, like, make, and I was super excited to finally complete. And this was actually the last thing I ever made from this Bluebird line, so it was a nice way to end the series off of, if you know what I mean. Anyways, so as you saw, this Bluebird set does come with a James the Red engine, as well as the Ertl miniature set. Now, I think the set's also supposed to come with a water tower as well, but I decided to make the water tower separately. And honestly, like, I mean, it does make sense to have a water tower in some areas, but the shed seems to be a little obscure place to have it. And the set does also have a turntable as well. If you're wondering, like, how the turntable is attached, well, it's just a separate piece, since there's this giant gaping hole. So I tried to make, like, the sheds leveled with this part right over here, so you can, like, have the tracks. Now, the sheds don't really connect with anything in particular. They're just on their own. So, like, I mean, I would have also, like, added little tracks right here, but I just didn't. And if you're wondering why the shed actually has 7 berths instead of 6, well, this extra space is for Emily. When in Calling All Engines, they took down the sheds because they were going to, like, expand them. And the whole, like, plot was that they were building a new airport for Sodor, and there was a Steamy versus Diesel's prejudice conflict thing. And you know how it is. Like, I know people aren't the biggest fan of Calling All Engines, and believe me, I'm one of those people. I mean, not because of its, like, slow pacing and terrible writing, but it's also those learning segments that, like, pad out the runtime. But there were some things I liked about, like, Diesel 10 and Lady coming back, and I do like that they added an extra berth for Emily, since they added her to the Steam team as well. So anyways, now the tracks don't really connect to anything in particular. They're just, like, made to, like, be aligned with the turntables. So that you can have trains come in and out as they please. Now, I think one of the only biggest problems I do have with this shed is that I made these for, like, the larger engines, but since the tracks are so, like, squished in with each other, like, it's going to be a little bit cramped if you try to put the bigger models of these guys in. The ones with the paper faces work better since they're smaller. And the turntable also spins, so you could probably recreate that one scene from Tenors and Turntables if you wanted to. But yeah. Also, these tracks are just floating out, so it's kind of hard to, like, get them to, like, fit in here as well. But it's still pretty nice. Excuse me. And now, I know the sheds aren't that accurate in terms of proportions, because I basically took the Ertl miniature sheds and just enlarged it and painted it yellow, like how Tidmouth Sheds is painted. Like, I know there's supposed to be little doors and stuff, but I decided to go more simplistic.
Awesome.
And I do like how the windows are applied here as well, so that the engine can look out to the side. Anyways, not much to say about Tidmouth Sheds, except it wasn't really called Tidmouth Sheds until Season 6, since they were just called The Sheds, like how most buildings are. Like, Knapford Station used to be called The Station. Brenham Docks was just called The Docks. So, I think they only, like, named them those so that marketing would be easier, since I'm pretty sure they were probably, like, my thing that kids won't know these locations, so they decided to give them names. So that way people would be interested in, like, which location they like the most, like Tidmouth Sheds, Knapford Station, or Brenham Docks. I think that might be right. I don't know. So, anyways. Now, the only problem I had with the original set is that there was only, like, 1 berth. Like, I think it would have been nice if they expanded the sheds a little bit, which is what I've done here, but it's still very nice. Like, I think this might be one of my favorites. And yes, the actual Bluebird trains are compatible with this style as well.
11 minutes.
Alright, so I've talked about the sheds pretty long, so now let's get into the main thing, the carrying case itself. Now, there's one thing that this carrying case is missing, which is the little handle on the top, so you can, like, actually carry it with you. But, if you're wondering how I did make this, I was originally going to 3D print it, like, entirely out of filament, but I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because that would have taken most of my time. So, I basically took one of those, like, 3D printer filament boxes that...
Cut it down.
And just, like, cut it down to, like, actually fit, since these Bluebird tracks are pretty small, and I tried to, like, measure out, like, how big it was going to be, like, getting a full circuit there as well. So, like, it wasn't really that big, so all I had to do was, like, take one of these cardboard boxes and just cut it down to size. Just try to make this thing removable. And actually, like the real Ertl Mini carrying case, it does have this 2D promo art picture of Thomas on the top, as well as the logo on the bottom of his smoke box neck. So, anyways, yeah. And it was basically glued on with tacky glue, and I think it's like 3 coats to actually cover this whole thing with blue paint. Now, I think the only problem I do have is that the bottom part is warped on both sides. I don't know if that's because of the paint or what.
Yeah, paint probably made it wet.
Anyways, so this thing is pretty small, like, and is very nice as well. And it does have these little tunnels on the sides of it. And if you actually do open it up, it comes with all this track as well. You get, like, Thomas with Annie and Clarabelle as well to go with the set. And I think the set is also supposed to have Trevor as well, but I just decided not to include him. Since, I mean, yeah. You do get Thomas with his coaches as well. And there's just a bunch of, like, buildings here as well, so we'll go through those. So, the set has, like, 2 signals, since they're supposed to, like, stop the trains whenever, like, another one is coming. Like, these are very important pieces, so I'm happy to have these. And they do look pretty detailed as well, since they have this red line. Now, these signals don't really move, but they're just, like, in a neutral position. Anyways, the set also has, like, 3 trees as well. Which I do kind of like the trees. They're pretty simplistic, and...
Are they foam or 3D printed?
They're 3D printed.
Oh, wow.
I mean, they do look like it.
Are they hollow inside?
No, they're just flat on the bottom. Okay. Same thing with the signals. Now, these aren't really restricted to, like, one place. You can just, like, put them wherever you want. Just, like, decorate the layout.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, those are just nice accessories to have. Anyways, now, I'm going to be honest, I didn't know what color to paint the station. Like, every type of building is either a desaturated color or just a basic color. Like, but that's what I like. Anyways, so I tried to, like, look up a certain station from the show and just try to go off with that. But now this might be accurate to some type of station. Like, they're just different stations that look like this one. Though I'm pretty sure they're painted a different color, so I don't know if I might repaint this station or not, but its overall design is pretty nice. And same thing with this little house here. I didn't know what color to paint it as well. I just try to paint it tan. But I do like how the door is painted on as well as the little windows. So it does look sort of accurate to, like, how the little house is supposed to be. Although I probably could have painted a better color, but I'm not complaining too much. And it does scale very well with the trains as well. And if you wanted to, you could probably recreate Thomas Comes to Breakfast as well. Mm-hmm. Also, there's, like, a lot of tracks here, so if you're wondering what this is, it's actually Velcro. So you can, like, also put some on here as well. Now, I think there's supposed to be, like, little track ramps where you can, like, raise this part up and basically have, like, little hills to, like, roll down on. But, yeah. So, you can basically, like, make your own, like, little track here. Like, basically how this works is you just... these things like have a little sticky spot to them, so they attach pretty nicely. So like you can, now it really isn't like that much to like put together. Like this isn't like basically like any other like Thomas merchandise where you like get like millions of tracks you like build one big railway on. Same thing with like model trains and stuff. I don't know how that got in there. I actually built like a second set of track just to, like expand this part. Just to, like make remakes better. So like this isn't just one big oval. But yeah. So I overall think this set is pretty awesome and I'm so happy to make it. But again, you could put these wherever you want to. This really isn't restricted. And basically, yeah.
Oh, when you have the little tunnels.
Yep.
Going out, those are really cool.
I mean, this is sort of like that one Thomas game, Building the New Line, where you just like put a bunch of tracks together and have the trains drive around. It's pretty fun. Oh, and just put on, and you can have other engines on there as well. Not much else to cover. It's just the basic track set, but
17.
it was still pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't like those other like miniature like sets I've made where they're just like really like restricted, like connecting them all in the same way. You can just like have different tracks over here as well. So if you actually enjoyed this video, please tell me in the comment section below. And if you like this set, please tell me. Like, I think this set came out great overall and it was very nice. So I give this a 10 out of 10 for sure. And even though the Bluebird series is over for me, I had a lot of fun making this series. And it's definitely my favorite thing I've ever printed. Thomas and Friends related, that is. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!